How's it guys, it's Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. Please just let me know if everything is sounding good, looking good. It's been a while since we have done a deadline stream. So I do appreciate you guys hanging on or waiting, and hopefully the stream is going to be worth it. Sorry for no videos for the last game week 18. I was unfortunately on holiday. No videos for game week 19 as well. I do also apologize, but don't worry, from now to the end of the season, the second half of the season has only just kicked off. The past couple of game weeks don't matter. Don't worry. We're going to give you a kind of green tick on those, even if it was a red arrow. And from now till game week 38, we're going to be cramming the content and hopefully getting a few green arrows along the way. So let me know how you guys are doing on this Monday evening. It might be afternoon, wherever you guys are around, morning maybe. I know some of you guys watch me at ridiculous hours of the early morning. I'll let you know that I get a flavor of that as my flight this morning landed at 3 a.m. So I'm not going to be in the best condition for this deadline stream, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully our decisions are still up to scratch and we make some good FPL plays. In terms of the FPL content, we do have 2 free transfers and we have 0.4 in the bank to play with. You guys can see that my team is not looking too great at the moment. We have Reece James with his obvious long-term injury. We have Wilfred Zaha, who has not performed against 2 newly promoted sides. And we don't have a certain Mitrovic for the easy captaincy selection. So that's my kind of tip. If you guys have Mitrovic, probably captain him this week. Seems to be the best option. And other than that, I don't really know where I'm going to go with my own team. But no one has said it looks good or sounds... Okay, wait. So David has mentioned that, so I do appreciate that. Thank you, fellow David, for answering the question. So I'm just going to assume that everything looks good and sounds good at the moment. But do let me know if that changes as the stream does go along. So everyone just saying Happy New Year. That is true. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Cam saying it's been a long time. Yes, it has. Lads, do I captain Rashford? So I don't know what the lads are saying, Moobs, but... personally, I think that's a fine captaincy option. However, I think I'm more or less on, if you're going to go for a single game week option, maybe look at someone like a Haaland. Not many times you do get kind of a Haaland differential captain, although I think you'll still be captained by a few people. Harry saying, oh, Gucci, Happy New Year's, boss. Happy to see you again, Harry. Let's go, says Gary. And as I mentioned, David said it sounds good. Kieran also said it sounds good. And Terang said, good to see you after a while, mate. Oh, good to see you guys as well. You know, I love these deadline streams. Hopefully everyone's had a good kind of end to the year. And hopefully this year, not only for FPL, in terms of just everyday life, is going to be a good one for you guys. Any news on Kulusevski? So I won't lie to you. I have no idea what has been happening with Kulusevski. I've not been on any Spurs assets, so I'm potentially thinking that he might be fine, maybe not, maybe he's carrying a knock. Sorry, I can't answer that question. I'm going to plead ignorance on this one, but I will check. Dave, your hair color is fire. I don't actually change my hair color, so does it look like I've changed my hair color? I'm pretty sure it stayed brown before and after the holiday. And then Vincent said, no electricity outages. So thank you for the reminder on that one. I am actually getting load shedding at deadline. So I will be making my transfers a bit earlier on, just so that we do get them locked in. So if you guys you don't have to worry about me doing any late moves now, because I am worried about potentially my power going out and then the live stream ending anyways. So that's what I will say. I'm in a big dilemma, says Ace. I will try and check the Discord. Henry posting the Liverpool team sheet. Thank you, Henry, for that one. Yes, it was confirmed. We've actually been getting these Liverpool team sheets out pretty early on before the deadline. Okay, let me just say, show this from Gary's question. So the Liverpool selection, if you guys are listening on audio, is Alisson, Trent, Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Tsimikas. So no Robertson. If you guys do own Robertson, unfortunately, is benched. We have Fabinho, Elliott, and Thiago in the midfield department. And we have Salah, Darwin, and Oxlade-Chamberlain up front. So Darwin is starting. I won't lie to you guys, I was almost hoping that Darwin would be benched, because then I would do an easy transfer of Darwin to Mitrovic, whereas now we're in a little bit of a dilemma here, because we don't have an easy route. We'll have to use 2 transfers, 3 transfers, for example, to get Mitrovic in. But do we even want Mitrovic? Who kind of knows? Hopefully it's a yellow card if we don't bring him in. When will you lock in, please, before the app crashes? Yes, so has the app been crashing fairly frequently? I know for Game Week 18 there was a crash, but was there also, for Game Week 17 there was a crash, but for Game Week 18 was there as well? I haven't really been too focused on FPL, I won't lie. Alexander saying, hey boss, hope that your Xmas and New Year was awesome. It was pretty decent. If you guys don't know, I went to Europe, so if you guys do live in Europe, Very nice kind of continent to go visit, more specifically Germany, Austria, and France. So if you guys are from those countries, big ups. You have beautiful countries, to be honest. Who is your captain? Not Mitrovic. So right now, not Mitrovic, but I think if you guys do have him, he's the easiest selection to kind of go for. Just makes sense. I wouldn't worry about the yellow cards too much. I think that I'll be on his kind of best behavior, to be honest, and then he should be fine. So Gary, I'm going to answer your question because it keeps on coming up with this message being held for review. Maybe you're spamming it, I don't know. But you've asked Martinelli, Saka, or Darwin for Pereira. Probably Martinelli. I'd play Saka and Darwin. Just kind of giving yourself some flexibility with the Liverpool coverage. And then you're also going for the penalty taker, which is Saka. And he has that over Martinelli, in my opinion. So Kane for Mitrovic. It's a little bit of a tough dilemma there. Who are Spurs actually playing? Sorry. They're playing Crystal Palace. I don't know if I'd sell Kane. It's kind of a tough spot. I think Kane and Darwin, in a perfect world, you wouldn't want to sell them. But I think it makes sense if you want to kind of captain Mitrovic. So I'd probably say I'd be fine with that, but I wouldn't be surprised if you bring in Kane fairly shortly, which I think some people are actually doing. They're taking Darwin out, going to bring him in fairly shortly. Taking Kane out, going to bring him back in. It's almost like taking like a 1 week punt on going for Mitrovic. If he does get a yellow card, he should get another one in order to play next game week. We'll just miss an FA Cup game. That is true, Sean, but is it true? Because someone said if he gets a red card, so if it's a straight red card, he'll get banned, but if it's 2 yellow cards, then maybe he won't for the Premier League game. But yeah, that will be kind of a 1,000 IQ play. Imagine like the last minute of the game, he just slide tackles someone through on goal. That could be a play. Alexander saying, yeah, I saw that you should come north of Sweden. A lot of snow right now. So yeah, I got snow in Germany, but I don't think I can handle the snow too well. So I think north of Sweden might be a little bit rough. But sounds good. Kylo GG saying, welcome back, D-Dog FPL. That's a new one. Maybe I should change my name to that one. Nketiah for Mitrovic have to... Yeah, I would do that move, to be honest, the slight tooth. I wish my team was that kind of straightforward with that move, because that looks like a no-brainer to me, especially if you want a captain. Currently cramming an essay that is due tomorrow. I need a nice, calm deadline stream to react. So, Harry, go use that website. I think it's GPT. Just use machine learning to write your essay for you. I think that's what all the people are doing nowadays. What are your transfer plans? So yes, let's go over my transfer plans. Thanks for the reminder. As Kylo GG became a legend, do appreciate it, Kylo GG. Thank you for becoming a legend. And if you guys do want an updated Discord link, I should have probably posted that. Let me post an updated link in the chat, or I'll just pin it so that you guys do have that if you want to join the Discord. As a legend, you do obviously get access to those certain channels. Who should I start, Trippier or Gabriel? So similar situation that I'm in. It's kind of a Ben White versus a Trippier. It's like the attacking threat versus, I think, the really good defense. Because if you ask me who's more likely to keep a clean sheet, I probably would say it's going to be Arsenal. Okay, let me just copy the link. I'll probably say Arsenal keep a clean sheet, but I mean, with Trippier, he can always offer that attacking threat, which I think makes it quite tempting just to go for him. I'm also a little bit concerned about... okay, let me just undo that. I'm a little bit concerned about Ben White. In the last game, he got subbed 59th minute. So I'm a little bit worried that maybe he is not considered as reliable in that defensive department as the others. And that's a little bit of a hindrance, because I would want my kind of defender to play 90 minutes. Yes, he might lose the clean sheet, but yes, he could actually get an attacking threat in like the last 10 minutes, for example. Got a lot of money in Saka and Martinelli, but would you sell one for Mount? No, I wouldn't sell. I wouldn't bring in Mount this week, to be honest. While you were gone, I forgot your new worries, Carlo. Pedro saying, Happy New Year, my brother. Happy New Year to you too, brother. Hopefully it's a successful one, not only in terms of FPL, but in terms of everyday life. Just moved from SA to Netherlands. Glad I caught the stream. Thoughts on James and Kane to Cucurella and Mitrovic. So first of all, Joel, congrats on the move. Hopefully you enjoy the Netherlands. And James and Kane to Cucurella and Mitrovic. I'm a little bit bearish on Chelsea at the moment, so not too fond of them. So I would maybe say go for Luke Shaw and Mitrovic rather. If you guys don't know about that one, someone was asking me on my Discord server, which I do understand, because United have City and Arsenal, I think, in the next 3. So those fixtures aren't too great, but United do have a speculative double game week coming up. Could be game week 20, could be game week 21, 22, so on and so forth. So they could have a double game week coming up fairly shortly, and therefore that maybe makes Luke Shaw a better option than a Cucurella because Chelsea's form isn't that great. United are looking better defensively. And if you look at the other kind of rotation options in terms of the defenses, there aren't too many options that I potentially look at. Maybe a Brighton asset, but United seem to be at the top of the food chain in terms of defensive transfers in. So that's what I might go for. Trent or Cancelo, who starts? I'd go for that. In terms of either one of those, I would probably say Trent just because of Cancelo's rotation worries. Whereas Trent is guaranteed to play. You've seen the lineup. Attacking threat could be there. As far as I know, Brentford might be without Tony. That obviously deteriorates their attacking threat. So I'd say that Trent looks pretty good this week. Chewang saying, I have Andreas Saka, I assume Rashford, Martinelli, and Pulisic as my midfielders, and Kane. Who would you bench? I'd probably bench Martinelli there. I'd play Andreas. Do you only have to bench one option? Then I would probably say just bench Martinelli. Transfer plans. So there's 3 transfers that I'm looking at. Probably James to Shaw. And then the other one, if I do like a basic transfer, it could be James to Shaw. Then I could do Saka in for Zaha. Or if I want to be a little bit more adventurous, I could try and bring Mitrovic in as my third option. Pretty keen on keeping Darwin Núñez right now. So that would obviously be the kind of taking my 4-3-3 away. So what I could do is Zaha, Andreas, and then I could do Greenwood to Mitrovic, and then I'd bench Martinelli. Or what I could just do is I could take Zaha to Almiron, I could take Greenwood to Mitrovic, and I could take Reece James to Luca Digne, which is a little bit more of a kind of adventurous play, but I don't exactly know if I'm too keen on that because I'm basically taking a hit to bench Almiron. But then I guess I am captaining Mitrovic at the end of the day. I got so much FOMO when I see Odegaard in others' teams. Yeah, he's a little bit of a weird price point for me right now. I could go for Odegaard instead of Wilfried Zaha, but I just think that penalty threat of Saka, it might be worth that extra value. But definitely something that I was kind of looking at. For example, what I could just do is I could take Saka, instead of Saka in, I could take Odegaard in. I'm insanely confused. Yeah, there's a lot of moves to kind of go for. I can kind of break them down in FPL Team if you guys want to. Because the transfer plans this week are all over the place. Do you have any thoughts and efforts into the cup competitions? So that's the weird thing about Game Week 19's doubles, is that there is a cup competition happening in between them. So for example, you have Man City for Chelsea, then you have Man City again in the cup, then you have the Fulham away game. So what I'm worried about is that the 2 Chelsea games, the 2 Man City games for Chelsea are where they play their full 11s. Then the Fulham game comes with a bit of rotation. Then I think they face Crystal Palace in Game Week 20 or Game Week 20. Yeah, Game Week 20 then. So I'm worried that if I do captain a Mount, he plays the Man City game, then gets rested in the Fulham game because that's the game you want him for. Wilson replacements. Ishmael, if you don't have Mitrovic, definitely look at him. Martial out for Mitrovic, I would say yes, especially if you want to captain Mitrovic. I always say this, that if you want to captain a player, it might be even worth taking a hit. Why do you not upload your team for the week on your stream? Can only see your team from last week. So the team right now is the team, but Ronnie, if you ask me about like videos, it's because I was away on holiday, so that's why I haven't posted videos. But the team right now you see on the stream should be the team for this week, but I'm just going to make some changes to it. Any chips will be used today? No chips will be used. Mount or Mitrovic captain? Definitely Mitrovic. Best keeper apart from Kepa, in your opinion, as I only have Pope? I'd probably say Edison might be a shout now with Cancelo's rotation worries. Otherwise, I think you can always keep someone like a Sanchez in your back pocket. He looks pretty good. One transfer left. Martial to Mitrovic captain or save a I would do the Martial to Mitrovic move, especially if you want to captain Mitrovic. That's the thing about my team. If you look at my team right now, who would you captain here? I could captain Mount, but I'm not too kind of keen on that. I could captain Haaland, but I mean, he has a tougher game against Chelsea, although is that even a tougher game right now? If it was a home fixture, I might be more keen on that. Could go for Rashford if I wanted to, but out of these options, I don't really have a standout captain, to be honest. And that's why I was potentially looking at going for James to Shaw, Zaha to Andreas Pereira, and then captaining Andreas Pereira. But I don't know about that. 2 red arrows back to back, got to bounce back this game week, Sadesh, yes. And when you look at the team and the kind of rotation concerns, I don't exactly know. Gutpo in the team, I don't think so. I can check Twitter for you, but As far as I know, I think Klopp said he won't play in January. But yeah. But literally everywhere I see over on Twitter, it's James to Shaw and Martial to Mitrovic. Those moves look so good if you guys can do them. It just seems like everyone's doing it. And everyone's on Mitrovic captain as far as I can see. I might have to go for Andreas captain. I don't know though. But that's, I don't know. I don't exactly know if I'd do that. You know, literally everyone is going James out to Shaw and Mitrovic in for Martial. So if you guys want to go for some standard moves, that looks pretty good. But getting back to the questions, do I take the risk and drop Darwin for Mitrovic? Christian, I don't exactly know if I would say it's a risk. I mean, Darwin's been pretty bad, and Mitrovic is the standout option for Captaincy. I just think that I like having some Liverpool coverage because I don't own a certain Mo Salah. I have Pereira instead of Zaha. Who do I bench in the midfield? Joel, just play Pereira. Just play this exact team. But if you still have Mitrovic, then I'd bench Martinelli. Will Cancelo get benched again? Gary, I sincerely hope not. Because if he does get benched, then we're a little bit screwed. Because then Patterson will come off again, and I don't want that. So it might be worth just doing a kind of defensive move, bringing Luke Shaw in, and then just hoping that maybe Cancelo as feature gets a clean sheet. Do you think Martial to Mitrovic is really worth it, though? I think it is worth it because Martial has been getting kind of reduced minutes. If he was kind of playing a full 90 minutes and United were doing super, super well, I mean, they are doing well, but I don't think they're doing exactly like the epitome of 5 goals a game or something like that, then I would say no. But because there is always that injury concern, there is always that reduced minutes concern, I think it's worth it. And you're going to captain Mitrovic at the end of the day. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to look at who you're captaining now versus who you would captain if Mitrovic comes in. And I think for me, that's probably the dilemma, because right now, I don't know who I'd captain. But you guys can let me know in the comments if you have a suggestion for me. How are you? I'm not going to sell Martial for Mitrovic. Man United have a very easy game to play the double in 20. Okay, that's true. Optimus Prime said 100%. As you saying you want to keep Martial, then that's fine. I've seen a lot of people actually do that. It's just I think I would rather keep Darwin over Martial, if I'm honest with you. But if you want to keep both, that's perfectly fine. Why Shaw, though? After Bournemouth, he has a tough game against City. So, yeah, that's what we were mentioning earlier on. It is a little bit of a tough one because I do understand Man City and then Arsenal. Bad fixtures on paper, but they do potentially have a double game week. And if they have an easier game alongside Man City, alongside Arsenal, that could be a relatively good score, because he could get a clean sheet in that game, plus the 2 points from the other game if they don't concede too many. Then you're looking at like an 8-pointer, maybe a 10-pointer, so on and so forth. And the thing about Luke Shaw is that after those tough games, United have some good fixtures coming up. So it's kind of the potential of a double, and also nice fixtures for the long term, and also the other defensive options aren't that great. So yeah. Zaha and Firmino out. Do I have Firmino, or are you talking about Darwin? Okay, let me look at your thing here. Ace, which one is it? Whom to bench for Andreas? Okay, for your Reece James replacement, I'd potentially look at Luca Digne. I know it looks pretty bad, but I like the Havertz pick. I might captain Havertz over Mason Mount, to be honest. Whom to bench? I would say bench Martinelli for Andreas, if you're fine with that, but I don't know if I'm too keen on that. Okay, then we have a super chat from Connor saying KDB to Sterling. Already got 2 free transfers. You want to captain Sterling, Connor? If you're going to captain him, then maybe. But as I said, Chelsea is a little bit of a weird situation at the moment. But yeah, so I don't know about KDB to Sterling, unless you want to captain Sterling. But I do understand you have 2 free transfers. If you want to burn one, that sort of thing, that could be good. Ace, I think I did check, so just let me know if that was your team. So he's saying, thoughts on Zaha out today. He's going to drop in price, and the next 4 fixtures are also looking difficult. But as far as I saw on Ben Crellin, they do potentially have a double game week. But what I might just do is I might just take Luke Shaw in for James, Zaha out for Andreas Pereira, captain Andreas Pereira, and that's what we go for. And then next week we can bring in whatever midfielder we want to for Andreas Pereira if we want that, or we can switch out for another option. So therefore we're saving the -4. We're captaining Andreas Pereira, but is it then worth doing Mitrovic in? I don't know. That's a tough one. How the Fulham fixtures after we have that game? Because some people are saying that the fixtures don't look that great afterwards. Am I right in saying that? So they have Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea again. They don't have some nice fixtures. But apparently, I mean, Mitrovic does good, well against the better teams. But yeah, those fixtures aren't too great afterwards. Do I get rid of Nunes or Martial for Mitrovic? Dude, man, I would say Martial. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I think I'm too biased in saying that. I was between James to Digne, but you always know Digne ends with tears. That is true, but he does have nice fixtures coming up. So Siddharth has been a member for 10 months, a legend for 10 months. Siddharth, thank you, brother. I do appreciate it. Cancelo to Shaw and Greenwood to Mitrovic. What do you think? I'd rather take out James than Cancelo. I just hope that Cancelo finds his feet again, plays soon, because then I think he's worth it. But that is definitely a move that you could make. I always want some Man City defensive coverage, and it's just annoying that Cancelo has been benched these prior two. I honestly don't know if he's going to play either. Play Andreas or Martinelli. For me, that was a tough one. If you have him in your team, I would play Andreas. But if you don't, I would say I would just play Martinelli then. Like, I wouldn't bring in Andreas to bench Martinelli. How was France, Davey? France was pretty cool. It got quite busy towards the end of the stay. And I think this was meant to be like the quiet season. So if you guys have been to Paris in the summer, I would hate to see what it looks like, because it was jam-packed and it was meant to be kind of the winter session. But it was crazy. I mean, those sites are something to definitely see. Cool Bear saying, hey Dave, hope you're well. Are we sleeping on Villa? Good win against Spurs. Good fixtures. All the best. We might be sleeping on Aston Villa, but I mean, we could look at a Luca Digne. In terms of their forwards, I mean, Ollie Watkins is always a troll. I mean, if it's like Darwin Núñez, he just always misses chances. There are some other options you could potentially look at, but I think maybe the defense is where you'd look. Luca Digne is not the worst option in the world, but I'd like to see some more out of them than just one game. I don't think Spurs are playing particularly well as well. Vincent, who's the player you hate only in FPL? This man on the... Can you... Wait, this way. On the far right or left, whatever your side is. Wilfred Zaha, an absolute troll. Hi, Davey Spiel. Robertson, no, he's not playing. He's benched. So Peter Tsimikas is playing instead of him. So yeah, it's a little bit unlucky if you are a Robert owner. Can you afford Zaha to Andreas and Greenwood to Mitrovic? I can do that, but then I'll have to bench Martinelli, I think. So let me check. That is a move I think I could do easily. But then I'll have to bench Martinelli, I think. Wait, maybe I can't. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that move. Yeah, so Andreas in and Mitrovic in is an option, but then I will have to bench Martinelli. I'll have to bench Andreas, and I don't know out of those two if I do that. No worries, Peter. James to Cucurella or starting Cancelo and roll the transfer. I would start Cancelo and roll the transfer. I just hope that your cheap bench option isn't that bad. What's the plan today? James to Shaw and Darwin to Mitro. Currently, Adam, it's looking like James to Shaw and Zaha to Andreas, and then captaining Andreas. Yeah, Kylo, the team is, that's the confirmed team. It could always change, but yeah. I rage transferred Zaha for Almiron and then he blanked. One free transfer in the bank. Who would you suggest for James and would you take a hit? I'd probably just bring in Shaw for James. And Will, I mean, just captain whoever you want to captain. I think you might have shafted yourself a bit there in terms of bringing in like a Mitrovic in, unless it's for a Darwin or a Martial. Hey, who do I bench? Almiron or Odegaard? You bench Almiron, I think, in my opinion, Manuel. Fernan, help me out here. 2 free chances. Remove James Wilson. James for sure, Wilson for Mitrovic. If you don't have him, that's an easy one for me. Sky saying happy New Year's, Davey, happy New Year's to you too. Good to see you again. I've Salah and Darwin. Would it be a good idea to let go? I don't think the double up is necessarily the worst in the world. If you do want to captain Mitrovic, then that's fine to do. I don't think I'd sell Foden with the Man City double next week, potentially coming up. Why would you have to bench Martinelli? Okay, so why I would have to bench Martinelli is that if I do Greenwood to anyone, Greenwood has to come into my starting 11, and I'm not going to bench Haaland or Darwin, so I'll have to bench one of my midfielders. And out of these options, if I take Zaha out for Andreas Pereira, I'd want to play Andreas, so therefore I'd have to bench Martinelli. That's what I'm saying. Martial out for Mitro. For me, that makes sense. If you guys do have him, I'd probably say 28 minutes because of the site. Yeah, I will make my moves with about 50 minutes to go, I think. Devin, I like that move. I think tonight, without Tony potentially for Brentford, Liverpool could look pretty good. Hey Davey, what are your potential transfers? So I've gone over these selections, but I'm going to go over them again because they are quite confusing. So right now I have 2 free transfers and 0.4 in the bank. My main concerns are Reece James, Wilfried Zaha, and not owning Mitrovic. But a first transfer consideration I could do is really basic. I could just take James to Luke Shaw. I could keep Zaha. He's going to drop in price tonight, but potential doubles coming up. I could do a simple James to Shaw move. 1 free transfer, bank the next one for game week 20, where we get news about the doubles. That could be quite valuable. Another thing I could do is, in addition to the James move, I could then take Zaha to Andreas Pereira. I could then captain Andreas Pereira and keep the same team selection just without James and Zaha. Or what I could do is then add Mitrovic in that dilemma and then bench Martinelli and captain Mitrovic. So that could be a consideration to go for. So that's what people are doing. So William, why is everyone wanting Shaw? It's just because there's not many great defensive options right now. Without the Chelsea assets, they're looking terrible. We then have other teams not looking that great either. I think the only selection that I might go for instead of one would be someone like a Brighton. So let's check Brighton's fixtures. That's probably the only thing I would go for. They have Everton away this week. Then they have Liverpool, Leicester, Bournemouth with a potential double potentially coming up. That could be a move to go for. But then you kind of bring in a centre-back. I know that Luke Shaw right now is a centre-back, so that might not be too great. But that could be a consideration to go for. Maybe go for someone like a Brighton asset instead. Karen, hey Davey, hopefully a good week. Hopefully. I'm praying for a green arrow. Why do you fancy holding Darwin over bringing in Mitrovic? I just think that it's going to come a time when Darwin absolutely bangs. He has too many chances to not have a haul soon. That's my honest opinion. But I could actually just do that. I could take Darwin to Mitrovic and then bring Darwin back in. But I don't know if I'm too fond of that. Mitrovic on 5 yellow cards as well. I think I agree with that, but I think he's going to get away with not getting one fairly soon. He'll be told that he has a yellow card kind of suspension waiting for him. And I think that that's going to allow him to be a little bit more cautious on the fouls. And as a centre forward, you don't have to make too many fouls, to be honest. He's a bonus magnet. Yeah, that is true. I might play Trippier over Ben White, to be honest. But because I don't own any Newcastle attackers, I might just play the odds here and hope that White gets it. Get rid of Darwin or Martial. Right now, I'd say Martial. So guys, I'm just checking Twitter here to see if there's anything going along. Okay, so apparently Gakpo is going to be in the team today. That could be interesting. Are we really going to captain a 4.6 option? That's what I'm saying. Okay, so who to bench? Andreas, Martinelli, or Martial? It's between Andreas and Martinelli for me. If you have Martial, I would just play him. I think that Bournemouth is a great game. It's the Martinelli one against Newcastle because Newcastle's defense has been pretty strong. But then it's also been Arsenal where their attack has been pretty strong. Too many chances to not have a haul. Remember Werner bench. Don't make me regret keeping Darwin, but we're going to see tonight. Liverpool play. Newcastle least amount of shots. That is true, but this is going to be Arsenal at home. It could be I could play Trippier. I mean, it's a tough one to go for. Usually what I do is I go over the projected points and I just see who's predicted to score more points, and that's what I run with. Captain Haaland, question mark. I think if you don't want a captainable gaming player, I probably would go for Haaland. I think it's between Rashford, Haaland, and Salah for me. I would be tempted by Salah, though, over Haaland if you do own him. That's what I would say. Probably to do, yeah, I'm going to do my transfer with 15 minutes to go. If Arsenal are going to win and City don't, I think Arsenal have a really good advantage for the title. That is true, but we still have a lot of games to go. I think Ben White's chance of points is slightly more than Trippier's. But knowing this, Cancelo's probably going to be benched anyway, and we're going to have Trippier off the bench. Davey, transfer thoughts. 2 free transfers, 0.4 in the bank. Concerns, James, Zaha, not owning Mitrovic. First transfer, James to Shaw, keep Zaha, and bank free transfer. That's the first option, yeah. So that's the same as what I was saying, Kylo. You're probably in a similar situation to me. James to Shaw, we can keep Zaha and bank it, but I think now I'm leaning towards maybe going for Andreas Pereira and then captaining him. But is he a better option than any of these other selections? That's the question. Or maybe bring in Gatpo. Now I'm not going to bring him in yet. I think I'm going to wait on that. I think I'll wait on Gakpo, to be honest. Otherwise, we have no news, but, I mean, we already have the Liverpool team sheets, so that's fine. Okay, so a quote on Dalot is, he's making good progress, but we don't want to take any risks with anyone because we know there are many games to come and we need a full squad to cover these games. So it looks like Dalot might have a little bit of a delayed entry, let's just say that, into the United team. So that's why Luke Shaw might be the one to go for right now. The same team as yours, only Cucurella in place of James. Should I keep him and transfer him out? No. Harsh, just keep Cucurella. Just play him. That's pretty strong. Incoming 2 goals for Darwin. Gary, I hope so. That'll make me quite happy. Would you sign a Ketcher for Mitrovic? I think I would. I think, especially if you want to captain Mitrovic. If I was, I will only make 1 transfer and keep the other transfer in the bank to see the doubles. I will captain Mount. I just don't know about Mount captain. It just seems so like, I don't know. Like, no one's going for it. I think that's probably why. It's because it's just like, it's just so meh, you know. I just don't favor it at all. What would you say about the Brighton defense? That's probably the only thing I'm thinking about now. Instead of Luke Shaw, is going for someone like a Brighton defender. I just want to bring up Ben Krellin's sheet here on the side, just to maybe take a gander and see it at that Brighton double game week. Okay, Brighton potentially have a double. Maybe game week 21. That could be a potential double for them. We'll play him for Everton. And then we'll play him for... We'll have to play him for Liverpool then. But Ben White has Spurs and Trippier has Fulham. Okay, so Fulham is going to be good. And Luke Shaw will have Man City and Arsenal. So basically they both have pretty bad games. And then United could have a double game week but they could have a double game week 20, I guess. So that's probably why we're going for Luke Shaw over someone like a Lewis Dunk, to be honest. If Mount has scored with Nottingham Forest, everyone will captain him. That is true. Oh, okay. Sorry, David. That was me just typing out your transfer plans. Okay, thanks for that. I was just a bit confused. I was like, okay, are we in like the same mindset here? Maybe like your audio is muted. No, Brighton have kept a clean sheet in 8 games. Okay, that's true. Okay, yeah, that's fair. So everyone's shutting down. Everyone's shutting down the Brighton pick. Would you captain Andreas, though, over a Mount, a Haaland, a Rashford? That's my only thing. Castagna for the next 3, but Leicester have also looked trash. Philander saying, how's it, Havertz or Mitro? Mitro for me, to be honest. I think that's a pretty set one. Havertz is fine if you want to take a little bit of a punt, but I prefer going for Mitrovic. He's just a bit more nailed. I guess it's between Andreas captain or Mount captain. That's what I'd probably keep it down to. No Mitro, no any transfers. Yeah, I'm gonna make my transfers in about 5 minutes time. Mount / Andreas per Mitro captain. Okay, Ben, I don't exactly. You're saying Mount / Andreas. I don't exactly follow the slashes there. I might be a little bit dumb. Sorry, Ben. Happy New Year, Mullen. I've Havertz, Kudel, and Kepa. I've Rashford, Martinelli, Pereira, or Foden for who? Martinelli, Pereira, Zaha, or Foden for who? What? I don't exactly follow you, Giddle there. I've Rashford, Martinelli. Are you saying bench who? Maybe bench Foden? Which ones? Lol. Oh, Mount / Andreas. Oh, I would captain Mitrovic out of those captains. Oh, you're saying Andreas Pereira, not Per. I thought you were saying Per like Mitrovic. I thought you were doing like an equation. Okay, yeah, Mitrovic captain, Ben, 100%. Happy New Year, Sax. Happy New Year, Abdul. Thank you for those. If you guys are just joining the stream, we are still making transfers. I'll do them shortly though, because I don't want to put it. Peter, thanks for becoming a member. I do appreciate it, brother. Yeah, so I don't exactly. I think the Shaw move looks pretty good, and then I think we probably will bring Andres Pereira in, and then captain him. But that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm too fond of that over Mount captain. Should I trade Nunez or Darwin or Martial for Mitro? I would say Martial for me. Luca Digne is a fine pick. I just don't know about defenders over the next. I don't know about that defense over the next few. I think that Shaw could be slightly better over the next few than a Luca Digne pick. I'm just checking the defenses here, if you guys are wondering what I'm doing. Yeah, I just think that Luke Shaw makes a bit more sense, especially if they do get a double game week. And like everyone's getting on the Luke Shaw bandwagon. Nikhil saying, hi mate, is Parade a risk this week? Got no Mitro. Okay, so who does Southampton play? Southampton play Nottingham Forest. I'm fine with him. I think I would probably just go for that. It might be worth benching Martinelli and getting both Mitro and Andreas, and then captaining Andreas. But then I think my team structure goes a little bit haywire. Okay, so let's go over the transfer plans here. I'm going to do it on the right-hand side, and then I'll shift it over to the left, just so I don't mess up the team structure. Okay. So Luke Shaw in probably. So James out, Shaw in. And then. Okay, wait, I just was doing the wrong transfers. Okay, James out, Shaw in. Zaha out. Oh wait, we're not going to lose price on Zaha anyway, because we currently have him for 7.3. Is that right? Yeah, we bought him at 7.3, so even if he drops in price, it won't affect us. Maybe just do the Shaw move then. Yeah, they do have Man City and Arsenal next, but they do have a potential double as well. Captain Mitro or Mount? I'd say Mitrovic captain, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna do the Luke Shaw move, and I think I'm gonna take Zaha out for Pereira as well. And then next week we play with whatever we have. So the two transfers are Shaw and Andreas in for Zaha and James. I'm going to confirm them, and then I'm going to refresh here so that you guys can see. So Shaw, Andreas. Now the only thing is the captaincy. So we're not going to bring in Mitrovic. This is what we're going for. This is the team now. So the only thing that we could go for is captaincy. So let's go for... I think I'll go for a double game week player. Okay, cool. I've asked on the poll. Vote in the poll for whichever captain you want. It's between Andreas and Mount. So you guys can vote. That's a lot in the bank. Yeah, it is a lot in the bank. Almiron to Mount for -4 now. Just keep Almiron. Happy New Year, Davey. Wilson for Mitro. Andy, yes, do that. And then Captain Mitrovic. Guys, thank you for this. It's 50% currently. Okay, now it's changing. It was 50-50. Who's more likely to do well, White or Martinelli? Bought in Shaw, so need to bench one. Martinelli, play Martinelli, play the attacker. I wouldn't play Ben White. I think I'm tempted by the Andreas captain more than the Mount captain, to be honest. So I think I'm going to go for the Andreas captain. Okay, I'm just posting it on Discord. Sorry, that's why I'm on my phone. Okay, cool. So I've posted it on the Discord for the legends. I'll now post it on the YouTube. Okay, cool. So that's the team. I know some people are probably going to hate it, but that's what we're going for. Harry, thank you for becoming a member for 10 months. Do appreciate it. Wheel of Captaincy. No, I think right now I'm going to go for the 54% that have voted on the poll. So thank you to the 270 of you that voted. And Andreas is slightly winning, so I'm going to go for that. Watch Haaland hat-trick incoming. It could always happen. I've got Andreas and Mitrovic. Who would you captain? I'd definitely captain Mitrovic out of the two. I'm only captaining Andreas because I'm going on. Davey, put a soft music on the live. That I want to add that, to be honest. I've just been lazy with it, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, I will add that Cash Sterling. Should I go Almiron to Andreas? No, I'd just keep Almiron. Is Salah a good option for Captaincy this week? I like him more than Haaland. I think if you're going to go for a single game week player, it would be Salah for me, to be honest. I got Cucurella, so should I go for Mitrovic -4? No, I would just I would bank a transfer then, Jamie. I'd keep Cucurella for sure, and I'd just bring in Andreas. But you could also go for Mitrovic, but I don't think I'd take a -4 for that. Vincent said Mitrovic has never scored against Leicester and Chelsea in his career, total 12 games. So, Vincent, has Andreas Pereira scored though? I think he scored a triple hat-trick every single game he's played against Leicester and Chelsea. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just putting that out on the table. You guys can do with that information what you do, please. But Wilson to Mitro, yeah, hands down, it's an easy move. Wilson to Mitrovic, Martial to Mitrovic, Nketiah to Mitrovic. Those are all easy moves in my opinion. Nketiah or Almiron, I'd probably go for Nketiah. I just think that Arsenal are looking pretty strong and it's a home game for them. Bench Cancelo for Dunk, I'd probably just play Cancelo. I have 3 Chelsea options. I've Rashford, Martinelli, Andres Pereira, Zaha, and Foden. Who should I transfer out and bring in? Can you name? I don't think I'd bring any up. You have 3 Chelsea options. You have Rashford, Martinelli, Andres Pereira. Maybe take out Zaha, Foden, but I think you want to keep Foden. I'd say maybe Zaha to Saka if you can afford that. That could be a move to go for. Foden to Mount in bench Martinelli. Foden to Mount. I'd probably just keep Foden, to be honest. Mid-train for Darwin, I already have Pereira. That's up to you. I'm not doing that. I don't think it's... I want to keep Darwin, and that's why I said if you guys have Martial and Darwin, I'll take on Martial first. But if you find on taking out Darwin, then go for it. I just want to keep him. I think he's due a haul. Hopefully it comes this game week. If Cancelo's out start again, would you take him out? Probably not, because he might have a double in game week 20, I think. As far as I know, he has a double, in game week 20. It's a potential double, but it's pretty much going to happen. Trippier or White? I'm going for White, but it's a 50-50, honestly, between those two. The reason I'm going for White is because I don't own an Almiron or a Wilson, so I'm hoping that Arsenal keep a clean sheet, whereas I do own Martinelli, so I hope that Martinelli scores. But in terms of upside, I'd say that Trippier's upside is higher than Ben White's. Hopefully you don't regret doing that. Andreas scored a free kick against Chelsea under 21s back in 14 to 15. So you guys heard it here first. Andreas is scoring a free kick against Chelsea in game week 19. Happy New Year. Thanks to you too, Patrick. Who would you captain of these 3? Mount, Andreas, Mitrovic, Haaland, or Salah? I'd go Mitrovic 100%. If you guys have Mitrovic, you captain him. That's just the general consensus of this game week. But please lock in those teams. 5 minutes to go. And what I will say is remind you guys, if I do just disappear, it's because my power has been cut, because we have load shedding in about 6 minutes time. So I haven't just disappeared. I'm fine. It's just that my computer would have died because I don't have power. So that's why I wanted to lock in the moves quite early. If you guys are just joining the stream, it was Luke Shaw in for Reece James, and it was Andreas in for Wilfred Zaha. Edison or Ward? Edison. Bench Walker or White? Bench Walker. Bench Darwin, same mids as you and Holland Mitro. No, I would then bench Martinelli, Andy. Play Patterson or Cancelo? Definitely play Cancelo. Mitrovic or Mount captain? Mitrovic captain. I'm surprised there's been so many questions about like Mitrovic or like a single game week player or like that sort of thing, because Mitrovic for me is a standout option. How much in the bank? Oh yeah, now I'll have to update it, but it is currently $3.8 million in the bank. Everyone's going for Mitrovic captain, by the way. If you want to go for that selection. Last question: Mings or Trippier? Mings this week, definitely. Andreas or Darwin? Yes, that's a tough one. I'd say Darwin. I don't know. Need help for weekly leagues. Everton or Brighton defense? Brighton defense. Slightly. The Mount versus Andreas Captaincy is going to be the death of me. And none same for me. I'm just going, in terms of my mind, the reason I'm not going for Mount is because I'm worried about that FA Cup game. I'm worried about Mount playing the Man City games and then being benched for the Fulham game. So that's what I'm going for. As Holy Bud is saying, Mitrovic hasn't scored a single goal this year, though. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? What more do you guys need to know? To be honest, Holy Bud, I'm probably going to steal that for a tweet. So, Davey or FPL, 100% Davey. But the two together are just magic, so you want them both. KDB or Andreas? Probably KDB. Bench De Bruyne or Martinelli? I'd bench Martinelli. I think De Bruyne is too good to bench, but he hasn't been returning, so I can understand why you're deciding that. Bueno or Cancelo? Who do Wolves play? They play Aston Villa. I'd probably just go for Cancelo. Which club do you support? I support Liverpool. You guys can see there. Good luck, everyone, says Harry. Yes, indeed. 3 minutes to go, so please lock those teams in. Akash, 3.8 milli in the bank. I've got bans. Play Gabriel or Trippier. It's the same situation as me, except I would probably say Gabriel slightly better than White because of that attacking threat. So for me, it's still the same. I'd play Gabriel. I play the Arsenal defense over Trippier, but I'd play Trippier over Bueno. Igor, who to bench? Almiron, Darwin, Martial, Martinelli. Bench Almiron. Drinking chocolate milk soon, I assume Vincent. Yes. If I didn't land at 3 a.m, I might have got out and bought because I need some of that extra, that juju luck, you know. Play Leeds defender or White or Cancelo. I'd probably just play Cancelo. Why are you benching Trippier? He's second in big chances created. So TR, I'm not saying that he's a bad option. I just think that I favor the Arsenal defense over the Newcastle defense. And that's why I'm hoping that White keeps a clean sheet and Martinelli scores versus playing the odds there and maybe Trippier getting an attacking return. It's a 50-50 at the end of the day. I can understand if you guys do want to go for the Newcastle option. Should I do Andreas to Almiron? No, I would keep either side of that. How much you got in the bank? 3.8 million. White or Cancelo? Cancelo. I want Wan-Bissaka. If he doesn't, I went Wan-Bissaka. If he doesn't backfire, well, it do be like that sometimes. So, if you want to go for Wan-Bissaka, that's chilled. Hopefully gets you some points. 2 minutes to load shedding. No, 1 minute to load shedding now. Start Andreas over Martinelli, Saka, KDB, Rashford. I'd start him over Martinelli, Chetan. It's a tough one though. 1 minute to go. So I'm going to refresh here just to show that the website is still up and the team is still up. I actually wanted to check. Do Fulham have a League Cup game? FA Cup game. They probably do, eh? Okay, they have Hull. And then they have Chelsea. They have Chelsea as Man City. But yeah, that's going to be the deadline, unfortunately. Thanks so much. Good to see you back. Good luck, everyone. Holding times for Darwin to score brace and assist Mo Salah. So, Scott, I agree with everything but the assisting Mo Salah. Hopefully, Salah doesn't get any points this week. But yes, that's unfortunately going to be the deadline, guys. So, thank you so much for joining me on this kind of return to FPL. Hopefully, it's been a good live stream. Let me know if it hasn't and how I can improve. I do know the music in the background. I'm going to try and work on that to get you some no copyright music in the background. But yeah, good luck, guys. Hopefully game week 19 is going to be a massive double for us. Hopefully our returns are going to be pretty good. And hopefully by the end of it, we are looking at a lovely green arrow. Hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully the green arrows are in our favor. And I'm going to quickly sign off before my power cuts so I can